Hello everybody. Just thought I'd give you an update here on what's going on with Hut 2.0. As you can see, I've started to lay down the foundation for the hut, and it is like fairly huge. I put most of the borders up, the edging, and it's being held up by cut up pieces of the landscaping timber here. Now my plan is to put beams here across approximately every 2 feet, because I had to cut these boards. These are some cheap wood, I think they call it sheathing, that I bought from Home Depot to use as flooring. I know it's not the best quality wood for flooring or even walls and stuff, but it was what I could afford. And I couldn't bring a 4x8 piece back here just because it's too big to carry inside Little Blue, and I didn't want to carry it on top because I didn't want people knowing that I was bringing construction material out here. So I had to cut it into pieces of was it 6 foot by 2? So I cut an 8 foot by 4x8 into a 2x4 and 2 4x2 pieces. So it's 4 foot by 2, 6 by 2, yeah. 2 6x2 pieces and 1 2x4 piece is what ended up happening. Originally I tried cutting it into a 4x4, so taking an 8x4 and cutting it into a 4x4 resulted in a piece this big. The problem is I still couldn't fit that easily inside Little Blue 2, and I had to carry it on the roof, and I didn't want to do that. So we're going to go ahead and see if we can't lay down the rest of these pieces here. I don't know if they're called rafters. Rafters are on the roof, so I don't know what these floor things are called. Floor joists? I don't know what it's called. I'm making it so that the wood isn't so far apart, so that when we put the cheap sheathing material on it as a floor, hopefully it'll be strong enough to hold up the weight of a human. Not planning on putting any heavy furniture in here, so the floor doesn't have to be super strong, but it should be strong enough to hold up, you know, a couple people. Wish me luck. To help figure out where the placement of these cross beams need to go, I'm actually laying out the piece that's this one's 2x4, just to measure the width, and this board needs to go right here in the center, so this can rest on it, and then on the other end it can rest on this. At least that's the plan. So now I need to boost that up by using some little pegs, you know, like that I have here on the bottom here, and put that under there, and then hammer that into place. And we'll see if we can't get this really, this floor up and done by today. Just wanted to take a moment to show you how I'm making these little foot stand thingies for the framework, the foundation. I'm basically cutting, you know, the landscaping log into chunks of 1 foot wide, and then I'm drilling holes using this cordless drill here that I just got. And I'm drilling the holes so the wood doesn't split, because I'm putting in these 4-inch nails. So I put 2 of them down there. They don't really go too deep, so you can see it's really not that much strength holding it all together. But it's just to hold it into place. Hopefully it doesn't fall off. I couldn't really find any nails that were longer than that. I have some 4.5-inch screws, but they were so hard to screw in. I might use it to later if this doesn't work, but for now I'm hoping that these 4-inch nails, they go in and they leave me about 1/2 inch or 3/4 of an inch to actually hold the wood in place. So far it seems to be working, but we'll see what happens. Alright, this is how I decided to lay out the flooring. I'm going to lay a 2-foot section over this way, but I might mix and match between 2 and 4 feet width and lay them out staggered or something, so all the seams aren't exactly lined up in the same places. Now I did have to cut off on this side to get everything to fit. I had to cut off about probably about 4 or 5 inches right there on the edge. So that means this first rafter, this first beam, is smaller than normal. You can see where it extends out by the 4 inches or so, 4 or 5 inches, which means I'll have to trim this edge off. Just kind of sad, but I think I need it to line up to the edge. I don't want it extending over when I put up the framing. And if I have a piece of wood sticking out, that's just going to be wood for water to catch, and then that might be a potential problem. Of course, I could make a little porch out here, which I might do. See if I can't do a porch or something. A little porch, if I have a little stepping porch. That would be a nice little add-on that wasn't planned, but could be done. Or maybe I won't do that right now. I'm getting a little bit too complicated for myself. Alright, I've started to lay down the floor. I'm trying to keep everything square, but it's kind of hard to do without proper equipment. And lack of motivation is probably the biggest thing. I'm kind of fighting the flu right now, cold or flu, so getting exhausted trying to do all this manual labor on my off day and during my little free time that I have. But I need some support beams under there, or I think I do. But I'm trying to see if I can get away without putting it there, because it's more work and more expense. So I'm going to nail this down, and then I have to run to Home Depot anyways to get some more parts. I think I may go ahead and put the beams there just to play it safe, but it is a lot more work. See, I have I don't have any beams going across this way, so I'm thinking I may have to add it, at least maybe every alternating one or something like that, just to kind of give it somewhat of a strength in the center. So we'll see what happens. After trying to walk on this and seeing how it bends here, where the joint is, it looks like I'm going to have to put cross beams. Otherwise the floor is going to bend every time you walk along that joint. So it means more time and more expenses, because I got to put cross beams going this way. So I'll have to buy even more of these poles. Wow, this is getting very expensive. Now I know how it could get super expensive building a house, how you go over budget, because, you know, stuff comes up. But even then, I think they would have better designs than me. I'm kind of making this up as I go along. Alright, I'm going to try to cheat and use these little 2x4s and cut it across and go across this way without getting more of these expensive beams. Actually, they're all the same price, but I don't want to buy more wood for the base. So we're just going to try to go across. And I'm trying to use a chainsaw to cut this, but it's not very accurate, so it's a little bit of trial and error. Alright, so what's my brilliant plan? I've tried to make little pieces that go across here. It's not really that strong, but I put a piece here and I nailed it in diagonally like this. Now I shouldn't have put this board down first, which was bad. I may have to lift it up and do the other side, which I think I will go ahead and try to lift it up. I had it nailed down already because I was trying to square things and lay it out, but it looks like I'm going to have to undo it and lay this beam across and try to get all the beams in and locked into place so that there's a board for everything to rest on and it doesn't fall through. So I think that's what we're going to have to do. Alright, trying to straighten this out and nail it in. I couldn't really do it without ripping that whole board off. But when I started to do it, it started to crack here. So I stopped trying to remove the board, the fiber board. I couldn't get the nail out, so I just went ahead and put some here along the top. It's not the best, but hopefully it'll be strong enough on this little side right here. And on these others, luckily I haven't put any in, so I'm going to put some beams in to go across. And we'll see if we can't make this stronger and get it to hold better. Because I haven't put this board in, I can cut the beams to size here and get it to fit into place. Alright, to try to size things, I'm not measuring it with a ruler or anything. I'm actually just laying the wood out and trying to line it up so that the edge goes here. And it goes a little bit here, tighter. I'm going to have to cut on this side. It's kind of hard to cut with a chainsaw. It's not a very precise cut. So we're trying to go a little tight and then hammer it into place and kind of lock it in with pressure. Then we're going to drill little holes, little guide holes, and then nail the stuff into place. It's not meant for super strength, but meant to kind of hold this wood stable when you nail it down, so that the two pieces of wood don't bend at the crease right there where they join. At least that's the plan. We'll see how it turns out. Alright, I don't think this is the best or the strongest connection anyone can have here for this cross beam, but it should help to hold the boards stable when they connect at the seam. It's not meant for structural. This is kind of the structural right here. This is just meant for stability. So when you have the two pieces, they're both sitting on something solid. At least that's the theory. We'll see how it all works out in the end. So here then is the piece that I laid out. You can see it's not bending. It's not bending as much. The plan is to have the other piece there too, from the connection point right there. So we're going to do this all the way across. And that way I can use the existing 2x4s that I bought with the treated lumber, instead of buying more of these big, huge landscaping timbers, because they're kind of a pain to put up. And I didn't want to put up the center holder, because this isn't really for strength, not for structural, but for leveling, keeping the wood lined up. So that's what we're going to do. Just have it like this so that the wood just kind of stays in place. At least that's the plan. Wish me luck. Until next time, everybody, I thank you for tuning in. Hopefully the hut will be further along when we are able to film again. I'm going to be heading out to get some more supplies. I'm totally out of nails. And I think I'm going to try to get some 2x4s to start looking into framing the walls and the ceiling. So, stay tuned.